Okay, let's be real. Have you ever gotten a totally useless answer from an AI? Or maybe one that's just super boring? Well, what if I told you the problem isn't the AI, it's actually you? Or, more specifically, it's the hidden settings you're not using. In this explainer, we're going to hand you the keys to the AI's control panel. We'll break down what these inference parameters are and show you exactly how to get the results you're actually looking for. So how does that happen? It's not magic, I promise. It's all about managing the AI's creativity. A good way to think about it is like you're a director guiding an actor. You have these specific dials you can turn to get a performance that's, super factual and straight to the point, or one that's just wildly imaginative. So let's check out those dials and turn you into a master AI director.
All right, let's pull back the curtain. Here it is, the AI's control panel. And as you can see, there are a few really important settings here. These are what we call inference parameters. Now, inference sounds kind of technical, but all it really means is that moment when the AI stops learning from data and starts using what it knows to actually generate a response for you. Simple as that.
So the best way to wrap your head around these parameters is to think of them like the settings on a really nice camera, right? You've got your aperture for focus, your shutter speed for clarity, and by tweaking these digital dials, you're fine-tuning the AI's output. It's all about getting that perfect shot every single time, whether you need, say, a super detailed technical document or just a burst of creative poetry.
Okay, let's start with what is arguably the most important dial on the whole panel, temperature. And yeah, forget everything you know about weather. In the world of AI, temperature is about one thing and one thing only: creativity. It is the knob you turn to control just how wild or how tame the AI's responses are going to be.
Just check this out. It's a single number, usually somewhere between 0 and 1, but it completely transforms the AI's entire personality. So if you keep it low, down near 0, the AI becomes like a strict librarian, right? It sticks to the most predictable, factual words it can find. This is absolutely perfect for things like writing code or, checking facts. But crank that temperature up towards 1, and suddenly the AI is your brainstorming partner, throwing out all sorts of unexpected, creative, and sometimes kind of surprising ideas. This is what you want for writing a story or coming up with some cool marketing slogans.
And here's a perfect example of that high-temperature output in action. See, instead of just saying, the Eiffel Tower is in Paris, which is what a low-temperature setting would do, it gets all descriptive and evocative. It's calling it a breathtaking icon that stands tall. That's the kind of expressive language you unlock when you turn up the heat. It's the same basic topic, but with a totally different, way more creative personality.
All right, next up, let's talk about volume. And I don't mean sound, I mean the sheer amount of information the AI has to process. Now, this one's a bit more straightforward, but it is absolutely crucial for managing both the conversation and your costs.
So, this parameter basically sets the boundaries for your conversation. You get to control how much information you feed the AI, that's your input, and how much it gives you back, that's the output. So you could ask for a one-sentence summary of a massive book, or you could ask for a 10-page analysis. But, and this is important, you can probably guess what that little $ means. This control has a direct impact on your wallet.
Yeah, it's a really simple cause and effects thing that you've got to remember. The longer your input, or the longer the output you ask for, the harder the AI has to work. And all that extra computational power, well, it translates directly into higher costs. So being concise isn't just good practice. It's literally going to save you money. Okay, let's get into some of the more advanced tools. If temperature is your main creativity dial, think of these next two parameters, top K and top P, as your surgical instruments. They're for controlling the AI's exact word choices. This is where you can really start to fine-tune things. First up, we have top K. The K here just stands for a number. So every time the AI is about to generate the next word, or token as it's called, it's looking at thousands of possibilities. Top K forces it to only look at a small, predefined number of the most likely options. So if you set K to, say, 10, you're basically telling the AI, look, I don't care about all the crazy options, just pick your next word from the top 10 most probable choices. It dramatically narrows things down and makes the output way more predictable.
Now, top P is a little different. It's a more dynamic approach. Here, the P stands for probability. So instead of a fixed number of choices like top K, top P creates a pool of words based on a probability score. For instance, if you set P to 0.9, you're telling the AI, start listing your most likely next words one by one and just stop when their combined probability hits 90%. Then pick your word from that list. This means the pool of choices can get bigger or smaller depending on the context, which can often lead to more natural-sounding results than top K.
So how do you choose between them, right? Let's put them side by side.
Think of it this way. Top K is like saying only interview the top 10 candidates on the list. Period. It's a fixed number. Top P is more like saying interview everyone from the highly recommended pile. I don't care if that's 3 people or 15. It's a flexible pool based on a quality score. They're both ways to control randomness, they just get there a little differently. But the main thing to remember is that forcing a smaller pool with either of them will always make the output more predictable.
Okay, I know that was a lot of information, so let's pull it all together into a simple, handy cheat sheet. Especially if you're studying for something like a certification exam, this is the summary you're going to want to remember.
So here is your ultimate recap. Ready? Temperature, that's your creativity dial. High for creative, low for facts. Input/output length, that's all about text size and cost. Longer equals more expensive. Top K narrows your choices to a fixed number of words. Top P narrows them to a probability percentage. And the key takeaway, the golden rule here, is that cranking up the temperature, Top K or Top P, will almost always lead to more creative and diverse responses.
So look, by understanding just these few settings, you've gone from being a passive user to an active director of your AI. You now have the controls to shape its output for literally any task you can imagine. So the only question left is, now that you have the keys to the control panel, what are you going to create?